Good morning. This is Dr. Suzanne Haas-Cunningham. I'm an individual, couple, and family therapist, and this is the second rendition of Therapist Gone Rogue 2. After I did the first Therapist Gone Rogue video, I promised that I would do a second, and I thought I would get some comments back from people after the first one, and then I'd decide what to do on the second one. So the second one is, what you see is what you get. What you see when you're trying to adopt grace is really important, and you have control over that. So let's start there. I did have some people who got back to me after the first video, and they said, Suzanne, there's some people I have some really hard time showing grace to in my life. I can't imagine ever going there with them. I could be good with all these other people, but not with this person, or not with that person. They've hurt me too much. They've done terrible things. I can't do it. So I thought I would start there. First, let's review what grace is. Grace is an openness to life and living. Grace is knowing that we are one of a world community and that our perspectives are not the only ones out there. Grace is the space, giving the space to honor all life forms, which is hard to do when you're living in fear or you're living in hurt from somebody or some group. So this is not an easy task. I'm not saying it's an easy task. It's about growth and development. It's about maturity on your part. But developing an attitude of grace is about you. It's not about them. The practice of becoming relationally fearless is a great practice to work on, especially to become a mature adult. Well, what does it mean to become relationally fearless? It means that when other people react to you, you don't let it define you. And if you don't let how other people react to you define you, then you don't have to have fear in relationships, even if somebody's been hurtful in the past. Because you can look at a situation and you can know who you are in it. Sometimes you will have to set boundaries with people. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be accepting and open to what that person is saying to you or the way that they're being. You do have to set boundaries if it comes to that. But going back to a place of grace is on you. And you're the one who's carrying around the bitterness. You're the one who's carrying around the fear. So this will benefit you to take care of it. So the next part is a little demonstration. So supposing that I'm walking around and I have my own prejudices, my own experiences, and I really can't see you for who you are. I have a lens here. And you're over there. And I can't really see you for who you are. Because I have experiences, and I have thoughts, and I have things that have happened in the past that have hurt me. So they're in my way when I'm looking at you and taking in new experiences. And then supposing you and I have a disagreement, and we smear some mud there. Now some of it sticks, and every time I look at you, there are those specks in the way of how I see you. There they are, right there. How am I ever going to get rid of those? Well, the truth is, you too have your lens over there. And between the two of us, and maybe there's some dirt on there too if we've been having a conflict. So how are we ever going to see each other for who we are? Well, I can't really control your lens, but I can work on mine. And I can let go of things. And I can clean off the old stuff. And I can say to myself, you know what? I'm not going to let that other person wound me this way. I'm not going to let this person control how I feel and think about myself. And so I still have my lens because I'm still Suzanne, and there's just parts of me that are going to determine how I look at stuff. But I can kind of clean this off. And then I can look even more, and some of those parts of me that I realize I thought weren't choices, that I was looking at things a certain way based on my history or based on who I am or our culture, I can take a layer off at a time and start to see things a little bit more open, a little bit more clearly. That's the process of becoming relationally fearless. I can do this. You can do it too, but it is a process. And when we're stressed out and we're hurt and wounded, it's harder to do it, no doubt. So I would say, in the process of becoming more graceful, what you see is what you get. And it's up to you to adopt a graceful attitude first. You have to do it. Then you have to decide how you want to set your boundaries in relationship. But it's up to you to do it. To not let somebody else's reactivity define who you are and how you're going to behave and the way that you want your world to be. Okay. The other part is being willing to experience what comes next. So in here, what comes next is I would like to demonstrate on a video how to work with grace. And when you have somebody who's really difficult or you're really feeling a lot of angst about how to deal with that and have a more graceful attitude. I am in the Syracuse area, which is in upstate New York. If anybody out there would like to try this with me, I will be taping it, although I won't show the tape at the end if you really don't want me to, because I don't think that's fair. If things come up as they do that you don't want the rest of the world to see, that's fine. But what we're going to try is just try this. Usually I work in secret because I'm a therapist and I'm here in my office and it's confidential. But what I'd like to do is work with 1, 2, or even 3 people, or 4, because I'm a family therapist and I work with groups of people all the time, and see if we can adopt a more graceful attitude around a situation or with a group of people that are having a really tough time. So if you'd like to do this and be part of it, I'd love to work with you, and email me at rogueforgrace@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and go in grace.